What is everybody? Welcome back to Truth and Transparency. This is breaking news. I do have the entire Michael McKee booking video, all the different angles. Let's take a look. Again, welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. Today is all day, January 30th. So let's take a look. There is no audio, so here we go. There are 4 different camera angles, and so we obtained all of them. So this is Michael walking in. Looks like a marshal right there. And so curious who the flannel guy is. With the hat on there. But this is from the angle. There's like 4 angles. He is actually handcuffed underneath this like jacket, whatever they wanted to call it. His hands are like in it underneath, and I don't believe, it's very interesting how this all is. People were saying, well, is he handcuffed? So right there, the guy that's got the flannel now, that's got the beanie on, he has some type of badge that's around. It's like, I don't know if he's a detective. I don't know if he's part of the marshals in this transport. See how he had that belt on right there? They took all that back. So that's all their stuff. See that? So he had some type of restraints on. And I think they do it to protect. I mean, I'm guessing if they thought that he could be seen by media, it wouldn't look like, he was in cuffs. Here's the tatty daddy, as you saw right there. The guy with the tattoos, he's going to come around and then go ahead and spread him, check him, turn and cough, all those things. They're going to bring him his little slippers, Jesus slippers right there. Again, we're going to see all these angles, but he's got his little boxers on there. Again, breaking, these are the entire videos, so you can see them in their entirety. There's a bunch of different angles. Michael D. McKee, this was at like 11:57 a.m. when he was transported. I was trying to pay attention to the way that he was walking, so let's take a look. We'll do it one more time here. Welcome home to Franklin County. There you go. Take another look right there when he turns around to walk this way. Obviously, what I'm paying attention to is his walk. No, they do give him a slipper. These slippers. Right here, he's going to turn around. He attempts to put them on. Okay. Let's take a different angle. All right, this is when he would have come from There you go. Now watch this. Okay, so he's coming into this little area where he's gonna. There you go. See right there, I was able to see how his hands are. They cross him like that. And so he is cuffed together. That's how you can see that he has handcuffs on. Um, that's the jacket right there. That's his personal effects right there. I think that jacket, this black with this like, bomber style look. And they give it. Here you go, Franklin. Here you go. So this is like his personal effects. So then here they're going to take off this what looks like a jacket. They take that off. They take off then that belt with the restraint. He's got like boots on, boots with the fur. And then they bring over the tatty daddy who's sitting down here. So here he's got his little hands undone from the restraint belt. And they're going to take that jacket off. He helps unbutton it. Here you go. He gives it to him. And then he takes off the boots, shoes, socks coming next. He's got to drop his pants. And then I think he has to take off his socks too. Yep. And now he's getting patted down. He has to open up his mouth. He has to lift up his legs, shake out his balls. He's given his flip flops. And he has to sign. The paperwork. Again, this is Michael D. McKee, his booking video from all the different angles. So you guys can see it all. Boom, boom. A couple of my sources said this is the most vulnerable they've ever seen Michael D. McKee in their lives. So, yeah. He takes the socks and he's off and away. Okay, this angle. All right. So that's where he was walking in. The reason I wanted to look at this angle is the way he was walking. Take a look. We're going to zoom in. He got behind him so quickly. Look at that position. Look at that. Is this the guy that's walking? Is this he? Does he sway? Remember I told you about that sway? Does he walk when he sways right to left to right? That sway. That's what I see. I see he has that sway when he walks, like, and it's like leads with your shoulder type of stuff. Like when you have that shoulder when you walk with your, yeah. Then now, let's see. We're gonna catch him again here. Okay, let's see which way they walk with him. Here he goes. I don't know. Oh, they cut it off there. No way. I don't know. From that angle, it's not the same walk. Let's take another look. I'm gonna have to put this into my player, and I'll be able to zoom all this stuff in. God, that video sucks. It's all half glitchy. I'm gonna see if I can do something about that. I agree. We're gonna see what we can do. Woo. Okay. What's this other one I got? This is the other side of the. Okay. All right, let's check something out here. We're going to pull up the person of interest video. Shit. Ready? We're going to put it side by side too. Bam. You know how many times the jury's going to be asking to look at this? Look at his heel pickup. See how he has like that heel or like that arch? Really prominent heel. Really prominent walking on his heels. You guys see that? This person is walking on their heels. Okay, now take a look. Let me add this. Look at that heel toe. Atlanta! Damn, look at that heel toe, right? Look at his heel. Oh my God. Lana, you did it again, you son of a bitch. Heel. Come on, man. Heel. Hot dog. Now the question is what video is that from? Remember, now they said that the person of interest is this person, the video they showed us, right? They never showed a timestamp, they never showed anything. Is that person that's walking like that that they give us, is that from December 6th video? Sarah, isn't this wild? Hot damn. But I think now we can start to ask a couple questions though, which is so take a look. Heel. The very prominent heel down slap. No wonder he sucked in sports. That's I don't know. Maybe a lot of people walk like that. You guys walk like that? I'm gonna go outside and video record my the way that I walk. Damn, you son of a bitch, McKee. Is that video though from what night is it from? I mean, I think it's the same fucking walk, but look at how the pants are laying too. Like, remember how I thought they were sagging? Look at his pants. Now, again, he's wearing these. I mean, okay, let's take a look one more time over here at the person of interest. Holy shit. Man. So I slowed down the video to make it so the second time around, I had it accidentally on 1.25 speed. So I realized that I had to slow it down. I mean, damn. I just know that the trash, they always keep their trash cans like that, so we can't tell because of that. I looked into that already. So Diane. One more time. That's the best angle. This one right here. All right, what do you guys think? Put a 1 in chat if you think that the jury is going to like, hey, we need to see this video over and over again. What do you guys think? A 1 in chat if you think it's him. A 2 in chat if there's reasonable doubt that it's not him. I mean, obviously, this is not going to convict somebody. I would never convict somebody if this is all I had. Never in a million thousand years. But I'm curious if they were monitoring him at all. You would want to take as much video as you could of him on the public roads, wherever he was, to see him walking and stuff like that. So, do you think it's him? 1, if you think it's him. 2, how about reasonable doubt? Like, obviously, you're going to need some shit, right? I was trying to look where the gun is. Right when he does that movement, that means to me the gun is in his left hand. Okay? When he takes his hand out here, I don't think it's on a holster. Okay? I just don't. But I mean, could it be? Sure. But I just don't. I think it's in his hand. What is he, right-handed or left-handed? You guys see that? Be tucked in his pocket, I guess, and or not his pocket, but his front like pants, you know, just tucked in there. But if he's got a silencer on it, right? I'm curious if they found ripped jeans in his on his person, like in his house or anything. All right, let's see what you guys said. So we got a lot of 1s. We got some 2s. I mean, I would not be able to, if it came down to this for me to decide if this man did it or not, I'd have to say reasonable doubt and I'm guilty. So because this is, come on. But I want to know what day this is from. Is it in fact from the night of, or is this December 6th? I mean, was he there potentially on a different day? I mean, who knows? What do you guys think? I can't believe he doesn't drive a white Elantra. That's what you meant to say. I can't say 1. He has the same walk, but then again, so do a lot of other people. I do agree with that. He's definitely, this person is a heel walker. Not enough to say for sure, but leaning more towards yes, it's him. Willing to be proven wrong though. Yeah, I just think that whereas he's got a gun on him and the gun has a silencer on it, or he's going to put it on once he gets inside. I think it would already be on. It's like he has a limp a tiny bit different length in his left step. Yeah, he's got, because I think he's got that, like, you know, like that sway walk. Like he's walking like he's got swag, you know, but yeah, I thought this person had the thing that I will say that doesn't look like him is this is a very prominent pigeon toe walk. And unless, like I said, he's really trying to walk differently, okay? This person has a very is I didn't see any pigeon toe walk in anything that we have from the police station. Right there, that left foot right here, it like comes in, like it like comes out and in. God, it will really help if they before they arrested him, if they got him walking on video a lot, that'd be really good. Remember, this video is taken walking towards the house, and if this was the night of, this has to be before the crime. And he's walking basically away from where the police station is, walking towards the house in the back alley. This is right there. I just have a lot. This is too much reasonable doubt to use as evidence. I mean, they're still going to use it in terms of like they're going to show the video, you know, to the jury or whatever. But there's going to be way more. So what my question is what this person's wearing here, right? When they have him on the video of, okay, he's leaving, and they're going to have to show videos of different clips of all the surveillance that they have him. Because clearly they have video before this of him getting out of a vehicle, right? And then when he goes back, they have been able to track him to then getting into this vehicle. Okay. And remember, I did this. I broke this down. And I said, why in the world would he ever park on the north end of this house? You know, if you did the camera searches, there's no cameras on the south side. That's just something that also blows my mind. I think that he would have walked a very secretive path to put him back coming from the south. I truly do. But maybe he's just a fucking dumbass. God. It'll be an interesting one. All right, what else do you guys have for me? My question is, does this person walk back the way they came? Well, they don't say that they use the same videos, but they say that they have him, you know, leaving, coming and leaving by means of like getting and going to that car. I can't wait to hear where this car was parked. He has femoral, really? I'm gonna actually already have a person that I reached out to see if I could get some of the old videos from. They should have them. Now, check this out. Remember, I just said on my last live, I said, guys, I got some information. It's some new stuff. Ready for it. Guess who Michael McKee was in doctorate when he was going to Ohio State to get his PhD. Okay. He was in med school. He was in med school at the Ohio State University. When he was enrolled in med school, guess who was enrolled with him and went to school with him? This is, you're going to just fall out of your chair. Well, I have a video queued up here. I'm going to put it on for you.
Show the impossible. His friends are seen leaving.
A medical student spends the night out with friends, but never makes it back home.
I have so many questions about what happened.
Mysterious surveillance footage seems to show the impossible.
His friends are seen leaving, but he is not seen on any of the cameras.
There's just all these unanswered questions.
What has happened to Brian Schaefer?
Hot damn. Oh my God, you guys. Michael McKee and Brian Schaefer went to school together. They were there at the same time when Brian Schaefer goes freaking missing. Okay. They were in med school together at The Ohio State University.
My name is Lori Davis, and I'm an advocate for the Schaefer. He was very good at tennis, and some even say that he could have went
Devastated.
when she died. That did rock Brian's world.
On the first night of spring break, Brian goes out bar hopping with friends.
They went to the Ugly Tuna Saloona. They had a few drinks. There was a band playing.
The bar is packed.
Well, let me be technical here. He was an undergrad. So he was an undergrad and Brian Schaefer was in med school. But Michael was there.
When the lights come on at 2 a.m., he's nowhere to be found.
His friends actually called Brian, tried to find him, went and looked in the bathroom.
Finally, they assume that Brian must have walked home on his own.
And they ended up leaving and going home. The following day, his girlfriend was getting concerned because she was unable to reach Brian.
She calls his father, Randy.
Randy told me it was around 7 p.m. when he got the call that something was wrong, that, no one was able to reach Brian, that he had not slept in his bed. Brian was reported missing that Sunday evening.
The next morning, Randy Schaefer's worst fears are confirmed when Brian doesn't show up for his flight to Miami.
When Brian missed his flight on Monday, Randy really knew that he was in trouble.
I'm retired Sergeant John Hurst from the Columbus Police Department. I was working prior to my retirement, the Brian Schaefer case.
After Brian misses his flight to Miami, police expand their search efforts.
We were able to check airlines, make sure that he didn't show up and take the flight without his girlfriend. When we talked to the family on Monday, we found out that Brian was with his friend Clint Florence from the university, and they had went to the Ugly Tuna Saloona.
Detectives' attention turns to the bar. Surveillance video shows Brian just moments before he disappears.
We were able to watch them from the garage all the way into the Ugly Tuna Saloona, where we had them going up the escalator and back into the bar.
Brian looked very happy. He was talking, smiling.
The last thing we did see that evening of Brian was he was out on the upper level.
A couple security guards are standing there, and then Brian is talking with two females.
After the women leave, Brian is seen re-entering the bar just before 2 a.m.
We seen Brian go back off the camera and were unable to locate him leaving the building.
Every exit is covered by a camera. Brian is never caught on camera leaving the bar.
We went through the Ugly Tuna Saloona bar, checking for any type of exit or areas where somebody may have been able to slip out.
The only way Brian could have left undetected was through a back door in the middle of a construction zone. But why would he sneak away?
He has no reason to just up and disappear.
Brian's friends are at a loss.
We did find out that Clint and Brian had a verbal altercation inside the bar. We did try to get Clint Florence to come in and do a polygraph, but he contacted an attorney and decided to not take a polygraph. The question comes up, why did he not take the polygraph? But some people just don't trust polygraphs.
Without more evidence, police have no reason to pursue Clint as a suspect. Instead, they focus their efforts on finding Brian.
We did work with the cell phone company. Unfortunately, the technology back then isn't as sophisticated as it is now.
Anyways, the Brian Schaefer disappearance case. Brian Schaefer has never reemerged ever. And they're actually incorrect about one thing here. I believe the Columbus Police Department dropped the ball on a couple different things in this case. Also, there was a you didn't have to technically walk into to go back to the bar. There were 2 other doors that didn't have a camera on it, and I don't know why they're not talking about that, but whatever. Anyways, he to this day has never, like, his body, nothing, just poof, gone. Yeah. So that's the Brian Schaefer case. But what was interesting is that, oh, wow, Brian Schaefer was in med school, and here Michael McKee graduates from the University of the Ohio State University. He was in med school, and he got here at the Ohio State University right during this year. He was there from 2006 to his undergrad started in 2005, 2006. So he was there. Anyways, just had a wow. People have always said, Lana, why don't you look into the Brian Schaefer case? If the Columbus Police Department would release some shit, I think, yeah. Another case that's crazy is the case out of Easton. Tyler Davis. That's even more crazy. I cannot believe that his wife nor the friend that he was with are considered not suspects. Anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys. So the Brian Schaefer case, look into it. But the Ugly Tuna Saloon it's right there on High Street. And if you walk up from High Street and you just go a couple blocks north, we're getting into the area where 4th Street is, Summit, and then 4th. Obviously, that's not where the Tuppies lived or anything like that back then, but where a homie here lived, aka Michael McKee, he lived right that's like South Gateway area. He lived over there on that street with some buddies. I don't know. He wasn't 21 at the time, though. Who knows? Maybe those 2 got into it. Anyways, I think that? No. I think just things come full circle, and you never know what could pop off, Anyways, going back to Michael McKee, let's talk about one other aspect. We got to get this out there again. You guys, I'm telling you, everything that transpired on December 6th should have everybody going WTF, okay? December 6th. Why would Monique go back to her hotel by herself? Okay. It was a group of friends having a good time. She goes to the game, and then all of a sudden in the second half, she's going to go back to the hotel room, of which the friends are told it had something to do with her ex. Now, in the probable cause, it does not say that the friends were told this from Monique. It was that Spencer said that. Okay. Well, these friends should have been like, what? Huh? Ex-husband? What could have possibly come up that involves this ex-husband that nobody talks about anymore? That they don't even say his name. People didn't even know his name because she never referred to him by his name. Okay. And what? You guys, none of that's kosher. And then here to come to find out that on the same day that this happens, on December 6th, when this whole ordeal happens and she goes back to the hotel room, because of whatever with the ex, it's the same day that we have a lot of activity with the Google search for Spencer's name on the 6th out of Zanesville. And then we have supposedly there is surveillance in the area that shows the same suspect that they believe is, with the video that we just watched, is in the area, and he is getting into the curtilage of where the home is, and he gets in, and then it's a few hours later that he is then leaving the curtilage. So what that tells me is that the cameras could only go so far to see that he got into the backyard, okay, but that they could not physically see that he went inside, and there's no evidence of him being inside the home. Otherwise, that would have been said, and I believe, in the probable cause. So I do believe that there has to be some type of correlation, in my opinion, of the person that's the suspect is there around the house on the 6th, and that there's an issue while at the game between the couple on the 6th. And it's not a good one. Okay. We've all said that Michael D. McKee just popped up out of nowhere 9 years later. Okay. That doesn't seem to be the case based on the probable cause. The probable cause is leading me to believe that that's not the case. I find it hard to believe that Monique is leaving the Ohio State Indiana Big Ten championship game in the beginning of the second half and doesn't tell any of her friends why she's leaving by herself. And it is Spencer that says, oh, she's upset about something to do with her ex. This ex on who she has told the family that this person was going to kill her. Let's use our brains, folks. A big bombshell, I think, is coming. Big bombshell is coming. That's all I have to say, because that is absolutely does not make any sense. Why wouldn't Spencer just say that Monique wasn't feeling well and she went back? Did the police switcheroo some language? I don't know. Nothing in the affidavit says Monique says she was scared when she left the game. Yeah, no, nothing. Also, you have to think, was Mo pregnant then? What? No. What? What? No, I think you're just spitballing. Like, no, that's not. No. I'm saying that it's Occam's razor here for me. Okay, if the husband and wife are separating during the game, okay, and the wife is just going back to the hotel by herself, and then the husband tells the friends it has to do with something to do with her ex-husband. What could have possibly happened where Monique is leaving and not with her husband, leaving, doesn't tell any of her friends why she's leaving. Friends don't know that she's leaving. And Spencer says, oh, she left because not like, hey, she's not feeling well. Okay. Let me ask you guys a question. How would you feel if, okay, I was asking Bella this the other night. I said, if I told your friends that you left a game because of your ex, okay, but that when we then were around friends and or family that we didn't tell them anything about the situation that occurred, and we didn't tell the family anything. And then another person that we did tell that we're closer with, we just told that you left the game because, I don't know, you got sick. What do you think? What do you think about that scenario? So, Lana, you're saying that there was two stories out there? Yeah, we told certain people one thing, and then we told other people another thing about that situation. And then we also didn't tell, like, another big group of people, we didn't tell them anything. What do you think? That's okay. That's okay that 3 different groups of people think something different about the situation. Okay. No. Sunset says that's okay. Sounds sketchy, doesn't it? R310. Yes. Okay, now let's talk about the reality of this. The reality is that Monique called her family, told her family, you need to fucking move me the hell back to Ohio. I hate this motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. I finally confide all of these things to my family. He's an abusive piece of shit, da, 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 da. And then we do this stealth operation. We come, get a U-Haul, take her ass out of there, whoop, file for divorce, ask him to first sign these papers. He won't sign. Then we have to put it through the courts. Okay, great. Then the affidavit says that after they were divorced, he threatened her life. That's what the probable cause says, that after, during and after their marriage, during and then after their marriage, he threatened her life. And there's no police reports of any of this. And that's actually per Bryant's. They asked for that in one of the pressers, that they had private pressers. Okay. So then we have all this time goes by. She meets Spencer. They get married. They have kids. Then out of the blue, December 6th, they go to an Ohio State football game, and something happens there during the game around halftime, basically, because at the beginning of the second half, Monique is going back to the hotel by herself, and friends that were there say, Spencer told us it had something to do with the ex. Not that she wasn't feeling well, but that she went back, something to do with the ex-husband. Okay. Then on the 30th, 2 people are gunned down and murdered in their home, and the kids are not harmed whatsoever. Okay. And then there is a nationwide manhunt on December 30th up until basically January 10th from the arrest of, okay, who we're looking for somebody that did this, that, killed 2 people, gets into their home. And so over the course of December 30th till January 10th, the police are interviewing people. Okay. And it doesn't come out ever, not once. Not even just like a little blurb of because at that point you're calling around and asking people, like, and same with the cops, right? Hey, when's the last time you saw them? What were they doing? Is anything been out of the ordinary? Yada, 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 right? And so then a couple comes forward, or multiple couples, and they say, when we were at the Ohio State game, we'd all traveled there. We were in a hotel room, but she went back early, and Spencer said that it had something to do with her ex-husband. And now what if the cops had interviewed somebody else and the story that they got clashed with that on the reasoning that she left the game? That would tell me that she didn't want to tell certain people the truth. And Spencer had no problem telling people that it had something to do with her ex-husband. It's bizarre. I know that if my parents moved me and I told my family all of this crazy ass shit, right? Because this man's a fucking piece of shit. I involve them in remember I was telling you guys back in the beginning, when you involve your family, there is no going back, and you involve your family in relationship shit. Like, once you tell them certain things, the families, the moms, the dads, the sisters, the brothers, they can't get things out of whatever that you've ever went through with that person. So you try to not involve your family until you have to, because you don't want them to look at you or your relationship or that person any differently. Like, you're protecting, you're trying to keep your relationship covet. Like, that's what people do. This is what they do. Okay. And so here, that would be all of Monique's family and Spencer's family and Spencer, like that portion of people know Monique as in terms of like that he is this horrible guy. He's a monster. All the stuff that she said in her vows, all of that stuff. Spencer had to endure that, had to gain her trust with, you know, hey, I'm not like that piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. So you also have friends that Monique would have had from the days of the Mike days, then now meeting Spencer days. Like you have your separation of friends, and yet you still carry with you friends that you've made, you know, even when you were younger, and they've known you through all of your different relationships, right? Because they've been your friends since like high school or college, and they just love you no matter what. They're your friend, and hey, they support you, right? So you're going to have to take all the different people that whoever you're interviewing and understand their relationship with Monique and understand their relationship with Spencer to understand. But here there's something that's just blatant, which is these friends at this game were told, they're saying from Spencer that Monique left a game at the beginning of the second half because she was upset about something about her ex-husband. The ex-husband who we all think that she has not had any communication with since 2017. It is 2025, almost 2026. The game was on December 6th. You're there to go out and have a fun time. What could have possibly come up during the middle of that game that it would have derailed what you were in the middle of doing, like in the moment of? Think about that. And then let's act like we don't know anything about the fact that December 6th, they have a suspect vehicle that matches the vehicle on the 30th. Take that out of the equation. Just ask yourself right there with that alone, who is going to, I'm here with my friends, I'm here with my husband, we're here at this game. How does this even come up? How does it come up in conversation? Oh, there we go. Good job there. I checked my Ring camera from December 6th, and yes, Columbus had snow. Yes, we did, didn't we? We did that same thing. We checked it. So you spent a ton of money. I guarantee you that the friends and the couples that they were with are their new friends, right? Like these aren't friends from like Monique's past that aren't friends with Spencer, right? So it's like your group couples, right? And for them to say that this was about something to do with the ex, that's what Spencer told us, that it was something to do with the ex-husband. Why weren't these friends able to ask Monique what this was about? Well, they were at the game because she just poof vanishes, but they're all staying at a hotel. So you would think that even after the game, right? We need to find like Monique, like, right? Like we're all staying at this hotel together. You're telling me that none of the friends had talked to Monique after the game when they went back to the hotel or the next morning when they're getting up to have breakfast all together, or nobody's asking her then on the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, hey, are you okay? Like, what are, like, Spencer told us that you left because of your ex. Like, what, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? None of that happened. Doubtful. Maybe these friends were more of like the doctors that Spencer knew from like his work. And so Monique knew them as these are the wives of the husbands that Spencer works with. I don't know what type of friends these are that went to this game, and that would matter to be able to judge it. I know that if Spencer's more friends with the doctors and they all wanted to go and hey, we're going to go, that yeah, then I don't think that these women would be hitting up Monique saying, "Oh my God, what is this with your ex?" Like, come on, like that's you guys aren't like that, right? So then I think it's interesting that he wants to tell Spencer would tell the group of friends about this, that Monique left the game because she something to do with her ex, but wouldn't mention any of this to any of what his family, his like. Come on, guys. We're talking about fear of safety here. Spencer doesn't mention it. Monique doesn't mention it. And if it got mentioned about the game and why she left, the same thing was not told to anybody outside of who was there. That tells me that the issue wasn't about safety. Because you best believe I'm going to be telling my family who the fuck helped me get away from this son of a bitch. Dude, I swear to God, I think Mike was at the house the other night. We got a message. The Ring camera was like messing around, or like the alarm. And then the neighbors saw somebody jumping over into our yard. Like, look at this shit. Look at this. Look at this. Wouldn't you be saying that? I know I would be. In like, you're confiding with like your people, man. The people that got you away. Like, look at this. Also, if my kids get babysat and like Mike knows where my mom lives, right? You need like, and hey, mom, dad, or sister, or best friends. I was trying to tell Spencer about it, and he just doesn't think that this is important. I'm like over here, and so we got in a fight at this game, and I left because of it, because I'm trying to tell him, like, listen, this is serious. This is what I've been worried about. This man's a fucking lunatic. And then you're just thinking that Spencer's over here like, dude, it's fine. It's not him, or it's like, hey, if it's going to make you feel any better, then we'll write a police report. We'll go tell the police. We'll like make a police report. We'll turn in. When's last time you even talked to this guy? Like, how would he even know where we live? Like, there's going to be some type of communication like this. If this is how it was about, if it was about safety, it was about the neighbors. When I'm off at the game, decide to send me something and say, hey, we got some bum that just jumped over your guys' fence. And you guys are supposed to be watching the game, and everyone's all Ohio State. You don't understand. Like, you're not going to be paying attention to your Ring camera during the Ohio State game. Okay. Or your surveillance cameras when they're going off. I mean, everybody is like fucking nuts about that shit. Like, woo, it's Buckeyes. Okay. So, and then I said, what would be the odds that it doesn't have anything to do with security? And what would be the odds that if the reason that there was an argument and the reason that somebody left that game is because of not safety concerns? Remember one of my earlier lives when I was talking about the ex-husband, I said, if he is a master manipulator and if he's plotting this to kill her, something that I could see him doing would be to reach out and to make it seem like he's reaching out to break bread in terms of, hey, this may not even get to you. I don't even know if you still use this email address, but I've been through, I just got to apologize to you. You were right. I was a complete fucking asshole and the things I did and said, and it's been bothering me for years, and I just got to get it off my chest that, I understand why you left. I would have left too. I hope that you're doing well and great and dandy, and you deserve the world, and whatever. Something where he would be reaching out and writing like an email to basically say that he was sorry for the past, and it's just been bothering him. It's been all these years later, and hey, I was just visiting with my family, and however he wants to write up this ridiculous email. Okay. And that she checked the email, and that she tells Spencer about it at the game because it came through or something like that. And then she's telling him. I'm just trying to give different scenarios where it would be like, and then that would upset her to be like, I need to leave the game. So think about it. But would he try to get her to put her guard down? Would he try to do something like that to get a rise out of her to even just comment on some level to say, maybe she would say, fuck you, I don't care. Like, stay the fuck away from me. Maybe if Michael said something like, also, I heard that you're doing really well. I'm so happy for you, blah, blah, blah. Like something like that. But what's interesting, though, to me is the aspect of that. Wouldn't the family have been told that I mean, Rob said it. She was not shy about not talking about him and that how fucking ridiculous he was. Okay. Not calling him by his name or anything like that, but that she was not shy about it. And so I find it very, very interesting that if this wouldn't have come out that, oh my God, that he reached out to me in an email. Like, I think that'd be topic of conversation. Don't you? I mean, it's a big thing. But here, nobody talked about it. Or somebody was told something else. I don't know. What if Monique never told Spencer that Mike, reached out, and then somehow it came up at the game and he was like, you never told me this. Why didn't you tell me this? It would cause enough of like a tiff to be like, and this happens on the same day that there's somebody lurking in the area going into their curtilage. And she's like, they just got into it, got upset about it, and left the game. Bombshells are coming. That's all I gotta say. The Ohio State game was in Indianapolis. Okay, guys? Nobody's meeting up with anybody. Okay? That to me would be absolutely fucking crazy. But the game was not at Ohio State. The game was in Indianapolis, which is a good 2-hour drive, like 2 hours, 17 minutes. She's physically at a huge game at Lucas Oil Stadium. Okay. A bunch of fucking people. Phone service sucks when that's all happening when you go down to games like that. No, I don't think that she left and go and met with, he's supposedly the suspect that's in on December 6th in Columbus. So I'm saying that it's ironic. And when I ever say the words that this is ironic, it's me saying on coincidences. I don't believe that on the 6th, there'd be some fight, or they don't want to use the term fighting. I'm going to use the term fighting. There was a tiff that happened and it caused Monique to leave the game. On that same day, December 6th, that happens at the game, which you've been like, you went out of your way to spend a lot of money to go to get a hotel room, go to the game, all that shit. I'm going to leave the game by myself. It's the same day that Michael McKee is at and around their curtilage for hours. Like they said, a few hours. So a few is usually, a couple is 2, a few is more than 2. right? That's all. What has Robin? You guys, we go back and listen to every interview. The family doesn't need to say anything right now. The family has never said anything about this. It would have come out because anything that was going to help like stuff. You want to preserve as much camera footage as you possibly could. By anybody keeping this to themselves, the camera footage that in that area, that anything that could be outside of 30 days, if you're not mentioning this by January 6th, bye-bye to any camera footage that could be of December 6th for people that have like the 30 days only. So if people are keeping this quiet, it was never mentioned by the family about anything about Monique being upset about the ex-husband. Go watch every single interview. Do you think that the police told them not to say anything to the public? No, I don't. I don't. Actually, that affidavit mentioned a lot that would be inadmissible because there's a lot of hearsay in that. Spencer told me that Monique left because of something to do with the ex-husband. There are exceptions to the here. Which one does that? What does that mean? What does that beat? That is for the truth of the matter asserted. That's what that is. That's you can't use. That's not that you can't use that. How would you ever try to say that? You think that's excited utterance? That doesn't beat that, in my opinion. State of mind, Monique seemed upset. Yeah, but that's not what they're saying. That's not what they're saying. State of mind would be about Monique. That'd be if you talk to Monique or if they saw that Monique was upset. I saw that Monique was upset. If you're going to try to enter in some text messages, like I said, I think that there might be some text messages on people's phones. But I think that that's going to be really, really interesting. And then ready for this part, though? That's not the best part that everybody's missing here is that if the family was told one thing and friends were told another thing, how would that sit with you? That would be a huge fucking problem. Huge. If, like, whoa, wait a second here. So go back to my original question, which is, how would it sit if Monique and Spencer are telling different stories to different people? Period. How would that sit? And then telling certain people nothing and acting like nothing happened. And then 24 days later, they are gunned down and murdered. That is some wild ass shit. That is absolutely crazy. I think that's more crazy than him coming out of nowhere for 9 years, 8 years, 7 years, however many years it was. It wouldn't sit good at all, would it? And they still don't upgrade the house security system. What's up, Truth Nation? I didn't even see you in here, baby. Shake it. Let me shake it for you on this Friday. Stay strapped, folks. Get out of here. I love you. You guys, this is problematic. This is a problem. And that probable cause, what I was hoping and waiting to see, where's my damn probable cause here? I'm going to use Hector one last time. I need to make sure I drive home my argument. My argument is we have a problem here. Where's my damn shit? I got more papers over here. You guys like that thumbnail? I said, what is this? What's going on here? Do you guys see that thumbnail? Let me put that back up here. Let me get my cell tower off of there. This thumbnail, man. Lynn, I tell you what. That thumbnail, I mean, just takes the cake. There he is. There he is. Let's get him right nice and there you go, right there. La da da. What an idiot. Okay. So if I'm a detective and I have my notebook here, my big binder, and I'm like interviewing everybody, right? And so I'm writing down my stuff. Tom says this. Sarah says this. This person says this, all this stuff, right? And then we get to this. Someone's telling me, well, we went with them to the game. And I mean, something that was weird is that Monique left at the beginning of the second half of the Ohio State game when we all went out of town to go to Indy. Oh, why? Well, it was really weird. I don't know. We didn't know why. And when we asked Spencer, where's Monique? He's like, oh, she went back to the hotel. I don't know. It was something to do with her ex. Her ex? Yeah, that's what he said. It was something to do with her ex. Okay. So then officers just sitting there, detective, writing down stuff. Next thing you know, you interview somebody else and they talk about, or you ask, hey, did Monique ever mention anything to do with her ex-husband this past month? No. What do you mean? So then you have all these people that you're asking and they're all saying no, no, no. And then maybe the cops even get more specific and they say, well, anything like when she went out of town to that Ohio State game, anything about that? No. Anything weird happen? Did she mention anything? They went with couples. Oh, I think she got sick. Or, oh, I think I don't know. I think that maybe she didn't go to the whole game. Maybe they didn't go to the whole game. I don't know. Nothing about the ex-husband. We haven't heard his name. We haven't talked about him in years or whatever, or nothing new. Just like, so think about that. So then you have your little notepad here and you're like, what the hell? So then you go back to the people that said that Spencer said something. Are you sure that Spencer said that about the ex? It was about the ex-husband, not like, did you maybe misunderstand that? Don't you think that you would ask, like, did you ever ask Monique about it? Wouldn't these detectives get more information? Well, depends on what they're trying to do. How do you know what she told her family, if anything, about December 6th? I have no idea. I'm not her family. I'm explaining to you guys, I'm explaining how the cops would go about this. I'm explaining how the investigation would organically grow. Okay? If her family ran right to the cops and said, we know who did this, it was her freaking ex-husband. He said he was going to kill her. Now he's fucking done it. Oh my God. Like, and then so the cops are sitting there talking with the family and getting all the information that they can, right? Well, they go back to the family and they say, hey, when's the last time that you know that Monique has ever seen him, talk to him, anything like that? Oh, I have no idea. So nothing this past month. That's the type of questions you would ask because you want to corroborate what these people are saying because it is hearsay, right? Unless you have some other way to corroborate it. Like I said, I think yesterday, the day before, I said, well, I don't know. Maybe Spencer's phone died. Maybe he had to use, maybe there's text messages on Spencer and Monique's cell phone talking back and forth. Like, hey, did you make it back to the hotel room? Okay. Like, are you there? Okay. Hey, is everything okay? So like those texts would, to a cop, okay, look at this. We can find those type of text messages that are happening at, I don't know, 9:30 at night on that Saturday, December 6th. But I'm telling you that if anybody was to be asked about this on that night and somebody has a different story than the people that are at the game, to the cops, it's going to be like, wait, there's going to be a problem. So my question is would Monique lie to her family or her friends that actually, because she just doesn't want them to worry? Like, I don't want to tell my mom. I don't want to tell, I don't want them to worry. Like, would that be acceptable? Or her dad or her sister or her, I don't know, her nanny, if she has one, her neighbors, but the cops would have to do their job and have to wonder if anybody has clashing stories because it's all hearsay. But then now you have to bring in Spencer. So whatever it was, it didn't rise to the level of Spencer telling anybody about it. He didn't confide in anybody about this, about the fact that they go out of town to go to the Ohio State game and something occurs during that game that makes Monique leave. That's rising to a level for me of that impeded our whole trip. Then we find out, wow, December 6th, Spencer Teppe's name was being Google searched heavily out of Zanesville. And there's camera footage from the curtilage that you can see the suspect that they think is from the same night of the 30th is in the curtilage area of the Teppe's home for a few hours. And if stuff rose to the level of safety concerns, the cops were not called. There was no police report made. That's why I question if this has to do with anything to do with the footage. I just don't believe it does. I think that the cops found that out later that, hey, let's go look at some footage from December 6th and see if we see anything. Because remember the waka flocka shit? Once you had got it pumped out that it could have been McKee's because he's hitting on those, and so you're getting all that data, it would then tell you when that car was in the area on different times. Like, not just that. Like, go and look at December 6th. Can you then pump it in and see what it's hitting on December 6th? I just know when I saw this affidavit, I said, wait, she left the game. I said, this is serious. Why did Spencer go with her? And why would she leave the game? Like, there's nothing that could be handled. There's nothing that could be taken care of. You're at the game. You're away. So you leaving the game, what does it only solve? It only solves to get away from the people that you were at the game with. That's the only reason. That's the only thing that got solved out of that you didn't want to be around the people that were at the game. Or was it just one person that was at the game because you got into an argument? Like, let's be honest, couples are allowed to fight. It doesn't mean anything bad. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, we had an argument. Yeah, it was over her ex. Well, I think it'd be really You need to get to the truth of why it happened. Don't be letting this defendant twist this shit. Okay? And what makes a little bit more sense to me is that I didn't tell my family about anything to do with December 6th is because number one thing is usually you're not going to not tell them if it has anything to do with safety concerns. You have to tell them. Okay? You've confided in them. They know everything about this dude. They know he's however he is. So telling them that you think that he may be back in the area or he's trying to get in contact again, that to me, like, that's just what you would say. But if you're keeping anything from anybody, from them, from the stealth people, because that's what I'm trying to explain is that the only reason I wouldn't tell them anything is if I was embarrassed, if I didn't want them to know something. That's just what makes sense to me. But that's the type of person, that's my mentality. My mentality is that. Her mentality may just be different. She has panic attacks or something like that. Like, I don't have panic attacks. I would have picked up my phone and said, "What the fuck, motherfucker?" I would have lost my shit on his ass. Okay? I would have been like, "Don't bring your pencil dick around my fucking house ever again." And in fact, I'm checking we're switching out everything that we have as far as security goes. We're getting a completely new system. I'm calling the cops, okay? And especially if I can prove that somebody jumped in and we have camera footage of somebody being in the curtilage, I'm going to say that I think it's this person and I want to press charges for burglary. I want to press charges for, say whatever. Go to the police. Maybe that's what the argument was about. Maybe Monique wanted to go to the police, and Spencer's like, "We're not going to the police. Like, what are we going to tell the police? Some guy jumped in our yard and you think it's your ex-husband from 8 years ago who you have not had any contact with? We're going to look crazy." You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think it's going to play a vital role in this case. So, again, to arrest somebody on 4 counts of murder for this probable cause, to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs. On December 30th, 2025 at 9:57 a.m., we fucked up going to the wrong house, but we're here now. Then, Columbus Police Homicide Unit Team 2 dispatched. We're here. During this investigation early on, we talked to friends and family, separating both, that had told us that the ex-husband, Michael D. McKee, had been abusive and had made numerous threats on her life during and after their marriage. An identifiable witness told detectives that Monique Tepe had shared an allegation against Michael McKee of forced unwanted sex and of strangulation. Another identifiable witness told detectives that Michael D. McKee had told Monique that he could kill her at any time and would find her and buy the house right next to her, that she will always be his wife. Do you think that Spencer knew everything about this? Because I do. I think that Spencer knew all of the things about the past, and they had to take a long time. He had to earn her trust because she would have trust issues. During this investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through neighborhood video surveillance. This suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after the homicides. Video of this vehicle and very distinct features allowed detectives to identify both a stolen Ohio license as well as an Arizona license being displayed on it at different times. Curious if December 6th it had different what type of plates it had at that point. Further searches showed that this vehicle to be associated with a past address of Michael McKee. as well as his current work address in Rockford, Illinois. Additional video was obtained and showed McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. Detectives also recovered video of the same suspect entering the curtilage of 1411 North 4th Street on December 6, 2025, and exiting a few hours later when the Teppies were away. These dates are consistent with video recovered of the silver SUV and are consistent with dates which Michael D. McKee was not on the schedule at St. Anthony's Hospital. Horribly written there. These dates with dates. What are these dates? The December 6th and December 30th? Anyways, on January 9th, detectives seized the silver. They seized it on the 9th. So what was Michael driving in when he left work on January 10th, drove to Chick-fil-A, got out of the Chick-fil-A, and got pulled over right as he was getting on the highway? What vehicle was he in? Not the seized silver SUV. That was seized, and it had Arizona temporary tags at the time that it was seized from the lot at St. Anthony's Hospital, Rockford, Illinois, where Michael D. McKee works. Detectives noticed fresh scrape marks on the window where the sticker, which had been on the vehicle prior to the homicides, had been hastily removed. Now, it's going to be very interesting if these detectives, when they went to go speak to him in person, if they stuck around and hung out and were monitoring him in Chicago area when they first went to talk to him, based on the interviews that Ann Jeanette Levy has had with an ex-detective, homicide detective out of Columbus, Jay. Well, you know how I feel and how much I trust cops, so we check it all. And so it's like, who had access to that vehicle to potentially go and scrape something? I'm just saying, throwing this all out there. During the time of the homicides, Michael McKee's phone had been left at St. Anthony's Hospital in Rockford, Illinois, and showed no activity for approximately 17 hours. More recently, while Monique and Spencer. Now, my question is why are you even needing to mention the last paragraph? Are we going to sit here and say that the last paragraph is needed to make probable cause to obtain this arrest warrant? Okay. Everything up to that point, why is this last paragraph even needed? Think about it. More recently, while Monique and Spencer were at the Big Ten championship game in Indiana on December 6, 2025, with several other couples, Monique went back to her hotel room early in the second half. When identifiable friends asked Spencer why Monique had left the game, he told them she was upset about something involving her ex-husband and was going back to the hotel. Period. And I'm over here like, why is that even needed? I think once you get probable cause without that, well, December 6th paragraph is relevant because it shows planning on that date. Planning of what? He went into curtilage on 12/6 planning. What if Monique was not supposed to go to the game? What if it was only a guy's trip and then became a girl's trip? It became a wife's trip as well. How about this? Put a 1 in chat if you believe that Monique on December 6th and Spencer on December 6th knew that their property curtilage had been trespassed by Michael D. McKee? Put a 1 in chat if you think that they got information while at the game that Michael was on their property. Put a 2 if you don't think so. Anybody that puts a 2, then you need to explain how Monique had ESP. My ex stalked me. I did not tell my family. I even moved in with them. He even stole my truck. Wow. They never knew. No one really did, but my current spouse does and did. And a few of my friends did. Well, in this case, Monique's family knew all that. They moved her back. I'm just curious to see what people think. I think Spencer would have called the police. That's what I think. We don't know what Monique was thinking. Correct. We don't. What do you think about the fact that Monique didn't say anything to anybody and just left? Left the game. What if her cameras didn't work? What if the Ring camera didn't work? What if nothing to do with Simply Safe worked? I don't think it's a coincidence that whatever happened at the game is the same day that Michael D. McKee was in Columbus. And I think that he knew that they were gone, right? That's what I've said, that he knew they were gone, right? And he went there for like a trial run to see if he could get away with it. But it's a very long time they can't prove that he was inside the house. I think that if they could prove that he was inside the house or that an alarm went off. But don't you think that the planning I think it's going to be really interesting to find out what Monique was upset about. Like, what was her version of why she was upset. Because if there's talks about Monique talking to other people and saying that, oh, I left the game, I wasn't feeling good, I got like migraine, I had to leave. Spencer stayed. I didn't want to ruin anybody's night, so I left. If other people were told that, I think that's going to be problematic. That's all. I just think that Spencer has been really supportive of an understanding of everything that she's been through, and I would think that if there was a conversation that was had to make you physically leave the football game, I mean, nothing could be accomplished. So, hey, we're here at the game, we're having fun, and we're going to take care of whatever it is, tomorrow we'll look at the cameras, or we'll talk with the neighbors, we'll see what's going on, and we'll file a police report. In the midst of the game at halftime. Very bizarre. That's all I'll say. Have a good afternoon. Join me back if you guys want to know the case that Diane and Jose Baez are on right now. It's the Shanna Gardner case, and I'm going right back here at 1. Coming right back because we have to put out all the stuff that's going on in the Shanna Gardner plot. It's the murder for hire case out of Florida, Jacksonville. Jared Bridegan gunned down in 2022. God, I can't believe it's already 2026. Or was that 2022? Yeah. So come back, join me. God, my I think everybody is on point with their thinking, though. Everybody is throwing up lots of good. We're thinking outside the box, and I feel you on this. You feel guilty for bringing the family into this BS. You feel guilty for bringing the family into the BS. Who does? I don't know. Oh, maybe that was to a question that was asked in chat. I just don't believe in coincidences. This dude's whacked out in the head for sure. I'm just totally interested in December 6th. December 6th is going to prove this premeditation. And that's what changed the charges to making it premeditation is December 6th. The same day that she leaves the game. So yeah, notifications are being horrible with YouTube. The best thing I can say to do is unsubscribe really quick and then resubscribe. And it usually helps toggle and then hit the bell notifications. I was going to say the same thing. I'm surprised that you would do it within 30 days and you would know how cameras work with the 30 days. That's the other thing I think is really ironic. Again, they were out of town a lot. They entertained a lot. They had people in their home all the time. They had a very big group of friends, always hanging out with each other. There was a car that was recognizable that belonged to the family. And how did he know that nobody else was in that home that night? Or did he not? And he was just like, fuck it. This is the day that I'm picking. Or maybe, hey, I picked December 6th, but they weren't there. So I just then hung out on the curtilage for 3 hours. They've been divorced since 2017. Do you plan to update the thumbnail on this live? Have a good afternoon.